In this publisher interview, the Our Hometown team is joined by Keven Zepezauer, president and publisher at Restoration NewsMedia in North Carolina. We hear about the onboarding process of multiple sites, as well as features customized for their needs, such as a source-based paywall, advanced newsletter design, print digital subscription management via CircPro, and a new dark visual theme implementation.
Hey there, Kevin. Good afternoon.
Hey, what's happening?
Not much, man. This is Matt Larson. I'm the president of Our Hometown. Nice to meet you.
Hey, man, nice to meet you. I'm sorry I'm running late. I apologize.
No problem at all. No problem. We were just talking about the conversation we're looking forward to with you. Of course, I've got Tyler and Vera on with me today. But, as Tyler said in his email, we just kind of wanted to touch base and, just get your feedback on how everything has gone, where we're at, take stock of where we're at today. But, I'm really interested in both positive and negative feedback on the whole setup process, what we could do better there. It's just kind of like a free-form discussion. Is that cool with you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Okay, right on.
Well, I can tell you, I've got nothing but bad things to say about Vera. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. That's why we had her on.
Yeah, there you go. No, I don't know how you want it to go, but I will just tell you real quick. Vera's been excellent throughout this process. We've grown to love her just as a helper, obviously, and she gives assistance, but as a friend as well. So
wonderful. Yeah, that's so great. I hear that from everyone. It's just I never get tired of it. So thank you for saying that. And I know you guys have been meeting a lot, and I mean, this has been a large project, this undertaking. I mean, really, I've been watching it from the sidelines, and there's just a lot of moving parts. So at this point, how do you feel about where you're at with the website, and is everyone trained up on what they need to know? Are there anything else we can do there in terms of sort of onboarding?
Yeah. No, I thank you for asking. No, I think I feel pretty good about the website. Honestly, I think that
great.
Obviously there are, like you said, a ton of moving parts going into this.
Right.
And we knew that, and we knew that I had a timeline in my head, and we didn't, sometimes we didn't hit that timeline because there's one thing touches another, and I understand that. I totally get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think, I actually messed around on the website a little bit last night, and Vera, I know you're listening, and one of the things that I did is kind of move some ads to above the masthead and move some ads around, and that's what I was having problems with initially. And Vera and Jack stepped right in and were able to fix it. And there were some other kind of determining things going on in the background that they found and that they were able to fix. I think that's right, Vera. I'm not sure, but that's what I remember seeing. So, but yeah, we. Things are coming along. I will tell you that we've done. Let me talk a little bit about James. James is a super dude, man. I mean, he really just a great attitude and very smart guy.
Definitely.
Very pleased with that.
Great.
I know that I've challenged them, I guess, a little bit with a newsletter, a different newsletter format that we have.
Right.
And that is it's coming along, but it's not quite where I need it to be yet.
Right.
And I'm worried about that a little bit. Just if there was a negative anywhere, that would be like the worst thing that I could come up with.
Well, I would like to focus on that. Yeah, we can talk about all the good stuff, but if we could get some feedback from you right now, because as I understand it, we're still waiting on one feature there in terms of the layout of the newsletter. Is that what you're talking about? You're not quite happy with the layout?
Yes. Yeah, I think what's happening, if I remember everything correctly, Matt, and I may not. There's a whole lot of information flowing back and forth, but the last thing that I remember is that there's it's showing up different on different email clients.
Right.
And so, like with Google Mail, it looks right, but with Apple Mail, it doesn't.
Okay.
And so I've kind of looked at it and said, okay, well, what if I change it from what I call a big box ad on the rail? What if I switch it to a leaderboard ad
Right.
or a banner ad and kind of mix them in within the story content, or on the newsletter itself.
Right.
Does that make it better? I don't know. And I'm constantly trying to think outside the box, and
Right.
I know everybody else is too. So
Right. Would you say though, when it's bad on Apple Safari or the Apple client, is it just like what's wrong with it? I mean, I'm assuming that we have screenshots of this issue, or no?
I did send that over to them.
Okay.
Yes.
Good.
And when I say it's bad, it's the ads, the box ads on the rail go all the way up to the top, and it covers up information. And
Okay.
I just,
Gotcha.
I'm used to one specific way that it was before, and I know things won't be like it was. There's going to be variations, but it was good for our advertisers because they were getting seen along with the content. So
right. I gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I know they're still working on that, but I understand like you don't want to continue sending this out as is. I mean, what I would suggest is maybe to consider kind of spreading it throughout, like between the blocks. That would be more of a surefire thing. It's more variability with the two columns, I think, in general, when you're doing that in email. And if it's just one column, it's going to be harder for it to be misinterpreted. But you're obviously already thinking of that. So, if you ever, need help redesigning it, if you decide to go that way, just let us know. But in the meantime, we're going to keep working on fixing, these client issues.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yeah, no, I mean, and Ryan, I think Ryan has taken the lead on that. He's done, he's good. I'm not complaining at all. Don't take it that way at all. Those guys are great.
Awesome.
I've learned real quick, make the engineers your friends as quickly as you can, because they can make or break you,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. I mean, and just speaking of that, like how was, let's talk a little bit about some of the custom work that we did, like the source-based paywall. I wanted to ask you specifically about that. Just real broad question, like so that we can explain this to publishers. Why do you see that as an important feature to have?
So to me, I guess my viewpoint, and I've got to dive deeper into this as well on my side, because I'm not using it to its fullest capacity quite yet.
Okay.
My viewpoint is I look at, or I think this is my belief right now, and I think it's part of A/B testing to identify. But I look at it and say, people that get our newsletter, they've made an effort, and they have expressed interest in having a relationship with us. Right. So they've taken that first step to say, yes, I'll take your newsletter.
Right.
And the people on Facebook, they are, they've liked our Facebook and they see it come up in their feeds from time to time, but I don't have a real firm commitment. I've got more information out of the person that's given me their email than the person on Facebook. So I tend to look at that and say, okay, the person that gave me their email, I'm going to give them maybe, let's just call it 3 stories for free, because they've made that first effort. They see a value in our company. Right. The people on Facebook, they don't have a whole lot of skin in the game. So in order to get them hooked, I'm going to give them 5 or 6 stories for free. Right. To try to gain them as full readers. Right. So that's kind of where that source-based metered paywall kind of came into mind for me. And we've been our company has been involved in the Facebook journalism project, or the meta journalism project. Right. And we just wrapped up this last week, and we've been doing that for 9 or 10 months now. And a lot of that came out of that just through some discussions of,
Okay.
you know, how can we kind of break that up a little bit more and try to gain more readership.
Right. So that was sort of through conversations with people at Facebook on how to just sort of make the most of their marketing platform, basically.
Yes.
Awesome. Wow.
Yes.
That's very cool. Okay. So yeah, now that's the beauty of this, you know, and why I love having conversations with publishers, like in the nitty-gritty stuff, like why they did it this way. Cause, you know, we can bring this to all 250 publishers we work with now, you know.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that's been really, really interesting to see that develop. So, I mean, in terms of how, let's see, the paywall is performing, how are we doing? I mean, how do you feel about the revenue? I didn't actually have that on my questions list, but I'm curious, are you happy with the paywall performance, or how's that kind of tracking for you?
I am. You know, I don't have those numbers in front of me, but what I can tell you is that throughout the transition process, it was, you know, there was a lot of cleanup that we had to do,
Right.
To make sure that we had people set up. But really, overall, man, it was a very smooth process, very clean, and and I gotta give props to James on working it out with Naviga, man, and just making it work. I mean, that was I know he was ready to pull his hair out. If he has hair, I'm assuming
he has any left. No, I know, man. Yeah, and I was talking to him through that whole thing, but that is such a huge accomplishment, and I'm really proud that we can offer that now. I'm so glad that was really a requirement for you, because you had that working sort of through the site that you built yourself internally, right?
Yes.
So for you, it was like, I can't go back to doing it manual.
Right.
You know, there's no other option. We have to have this. But for a lot of publishers we work with, they're doing it manually now, even though they have CircPro. So we really need to get the word out on why it's so important. So can you just tell me a little bit about like why it was so important for you to maintain that connection?
Yeah, I could talk for days on that. You'll probably have to tell me to shut up, but I'll you know, I'll put it, you know, like real quick and easy if it makes sense. Is that,
yeah, sure.
You know, prior to us having that integration with Alex, who was my son that built the site,
right,
for us.
I heard about that. Yeah.
Prior to having that, man, it was ugly. Like, you know, somebody would go online, they'd make a payment, and then we'd have to get a report, then we'd have to go into Naviga, set it up. We'd have to call the customer for their credit card number because we couldn't get the credit card. You know, you're not supposed to because of whatever that.
The security issues.
Yeah. So,
credit cards,
you know, yeah. So I completely get that. And then, you know, it's a hassle of trying to get a hold of the customer, and then the customer's not sure they did the right thing. Do they trust us? All that stuff.
Right.
So that was my requirement with Alex when we set the site up. I said, you know, let's just figure it out, man. You know, just let's do it. And,
right.
And he did, and rest assured, he almost pulled all his hair out doing it.
Right.
But you know, with his process, and of course yours, and not wanting to go back is for that reason. I mean, I've opened up time downstairs with my customer service reps to actually work with a customer, talk to them, and deal with, you know, not only just customer issues, but do other revenue generating things within our own company that we require, that we needed. So just a huge thing for us, man.
Right. No, that's what it all comes down to, right? I mean, like, yeah, to have someone have to go through this process of coordinating systems, it's such a waste of resources. You know, you got these people that are right there in your community, and you know, there's things that only they can do. But if we can automate this, yeah. I mean, what's your feedback on the whole rollout process? Because I know that there was some issues with people getting confused and like, you know, just with the new website. Like, how did that go from your perspective?
I mean, I've been through a couple of these, and I'll tell you, and I'm not gonna BS you. I'm gonna tell you up front, man, it was the smoothest one that I have ever been through.
Okay, great. That's good.
And I do shout that from the rooftops, and I let people know because I think it's important. I've never once had any issues in picking up the phone and calling Vera or sending an email and saying, hey, I need some help here.
Right.
Usually within 24 hours or less, I get a response saying, hey, we're looking at it.
Right.
And then there's a response, shortly thereafter. The rollout process was, I think, on point. I think we tried to do as much training ahead of time. We had a lot of staff that we had to kind of coordinate.
Right.
And I think ultimately we did the best we could to make sure. Some people just don't listen. Some people don't pay attention. We know that.
Right.
And we just have to re-show them, we have to sit there with them and get them trained on it, behind their backs. But,
right.
Ultimately, man, I can't, not one thing sticks out from my brain that says, boy, that really pissed me off. We need to have a discussion about that. So
right.
I would tell you the best one that I've been through, man.
That really means a lot. I know what you're saying there. I feel like every publisher's been through this many times. Like there's been so much fluctuation in the industry, like going between different CMSs, and every time it's a huge headache. And you can only, like you said, you can only plan for so much, and then otherwise you just got to be ready to, adjust and adapt on the fly.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And when I tell you I shout it from the rooftops, I mean that. I meet with several of the publishers here around us, and they've talked about, well, we're with this such and such company, we're looking at going to this other company, and
right.
I'm like, look, dude, you guys need to look at our hometown.
Wonderful.
We've done that. I can tell you about my process, and if you go with them, if you have a question, you can call me too, as a resource, because I can tell you, I know how to do it. So
right.
So I whether that leads to anything or not, I can't tell you. It's their decision, but
right.
But I think it is important for people to know. I mean, if I had a bad experience, I'd probably tell them that too, but I didn't.
Right.
So.
That's how it's always been for us. I mean, we do some marketing, paid marketing with associations, but it's almost all word of mouth. And I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, Kevin. I mean, that's everything to us. So, I would definitely love to use you as a reference, just for, certainly we get a lot of people coming to us that want to do these multi-paper sites. And I think you're kind of a shining example of that. So
absolutely, man.
We'll be sharing your site actually on a demo that we have tomorrow with a group in Tennessee. So, okay. Now, other than that, like we've got this, okay, so the newsletter, I wanted to ask you a little bit about, the newsletter integration with MemberPress. So basically that was something that we showed you how the newsletter worked, and you said it needs to automatically connect depending on which paper they subscribe to, correct? It needs to automatically put them on a list.
Yes.
Okay. And so I think traditionally, like, this has been just such a overall, like this whole relationship with you has been so positive for us, because it's challenged us, but it's pushed the platform forward. I mean, we used to have kind of hacks and ways to work around this. And you can kind of manually do it, but like for you, it's just like, we're not going to do it if we have to manually do it. Is that fair?
Yeah, that is absolutely fair. Yes.
Yeah. So like and it is a good customer experience. You really you want to have, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Why did you see it as so important to have separate newsletters rather than just like a Restoration Media newsletter from your perspective?
So from my perspective, we've got, obviously we have several, but let's talk about the main ones, which are the daily briefings that we send out. We've got five main daily briefings that we send out for our newspapers. And so, people in Wake Forest, they don't care about what's going on in Wilson. They could care less.
Okay.
And people in Wilson don't care about what's going on in Wake Forest or Creedmoor or anywhere else.
Right.
We do share some content, but ultimately we need to detail it to the local level. And so that was really important to me. And to have it, where when somebody signs up, it automatically drops them into the correct newsletter, for that publication. To automate that is huge for me.
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think that led us into, we're running our first contest right now with you guys, because we were using Second Street, and so I don't think this one's been that successful quite yet, to be honest with you, as far as entries go. But Vera spent some time with us and showed us how to set it up. I think Jack showed us some things as well, and I've got some guys here that are I'm sorry to jump around a little bit.
Oh, please, that's fine. Yeah.
But I've got some guys that are very partial to Second Street. That's who we use, or are using still. And it's a very smooth process. It's very slick, all that good stuff.
Right.
What I'm trying to do is trying to get them to step outside their boundaries and take a look at what options we currently have.
Right.
And how to make sure that when we use contests through OHT, that those emails that we do get dumped into the correct
newsletter. They have
newsletter audiences. Yeah.
Very cool.
And so,
okay.
And that's the way Jack has it set up for me. I think he's shown me a little bit of that. But that's important to me. If we run it through Second Street, then I have to pull a email database list, then I got to send it to James, then James has to upload it.
Right.
And that's a lot of process for him, for me, for everybody.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
I'm just trying to find a better way,
Sure.
A smoother way, and I'm hoping that I can make this work. So
yeah, definitely. Okay, so we kind of just. How long has this been running then?
It's just a couple of days, really. So
okay, all right. So tough to make a call on the success yet, but I mean we'll see. I'm familiar with Second Street. I've seen a lot of their stuff. What if there's any ideas that you have where we could get a little bit closer to what they're doing? The things that you like about them that aren't here. Just let us know, because Gravity Forms is something we could modify and customize a little bit more. So just want you to know we're open to more feedback on that. That never really ends. We're always open to feedback.
Yeah, I'm with you. I know when Vera and I talked, I told her, I said, these, like, this one is small. If we get any entries, it might be 10,
Yeah. Okay.
But when we're looking at like a best of, which what I'm talking about there, best of the best, and Reader's Choice was what we do here. We've got, it's huge. Like that, I just tell you, it's big, like over, I don't know, Vera, I don't know if Vera remembers the number. It's like over 300 some odd different categories and all that stuff. So
yeah, I've seen these. Yeah.
Yeah. It's huge, but I think the key is to pair that up with what we do with Second Street and say, okay, what are we missing here? And can we get something that's comparable?
Right. Exactly. So at this point, there's no Second Street left on the site, or are you still using them for other things? I didn't catch that.
No, I'm sorry. Yeah. So we're still using them. We still have them kind of on tap right now.
Right.
This is our test to see how this works. I think we may have another one coming up here in I don't know, next couple of weeks. And so I'm gonna press and make sure that we utilize OHT for that as well.
Sure, definitely.
And then I just need to get some entries and feel good about like how we can massage the data and all that good stuff. So
right, yeah, definitely. Now it's all about the work. You kind of got to start with the workflow. I mean, it seems like you're starting there, And then, as long as it can be centralized all on the website, then we can work up like the interface, for example, like getting it to look more like a Second Street promotion or something like
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes.
Okay, I understand. Um, so yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of jumping around because I want to make sure I get feedback on all these features. Custom roles. Do you have any comments on that? Are you guys using the custom roles?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about that this morning.
Yeah.
We had those set. Well, James went through it with me a couple of different times. I think I set one up. I went in and set one up, and I believe that's on me right now, Matt. I think he told me I set it up wrong, and I needed to fix it.
Okay.
And I don't think I've gone back in. I got tied up, and it's just
Sure.
on me.
I
But
understand.
it is absolutely important to me, and
Cool.
the main reason is because when we first started, we had some people go in there and change kind of the look and feel of the site, and
Oh boy.
I don't,
Yeah. Right.
yeah, and I don't need people. I don't need people in the newsroom. They think they're creative, and they are to some degree.
Right.
I don't need them messing around with members or let's
Right.
change the site color to pink.
Right.
I don't need that. So
Got it.
I need to get back on that, but I made it pretty clear. I sent out a company-wide email and said, do not go into places you don't need to go to right now until I get that squared up. So
Right. Yeah, that's your stopgap. But eventually your plan is to basically create custom editor or reporter roles that really can just edit the content, but they don't need to be in MemberPress. They don't need to see that area or even necessarily the ads. Would you have that all off limits?
yes, I would.
Okay,
Yes.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in the past what we had was we could set up custom roles for you, but we would have to do it and program it. So basically, James has made that like self-service, so you can go in here and change it on your own. So yeah, Kevin, if you want any support on that, want to go through it again, don't hesitate to reach out. It doesn't matter that we've already gone over it. If it makes it easier for you, happy to do it. Okay.
Well, I appreciate it. I know I'm getting old, man. I turned 50 last week, and I'm like, damn, where, like I should remember a lot of stuff, but
Oh
I
man.
don't want to hassle Vera and James forever about certain things, but I will get back on the rolls, and that is a key that I think I've done. So
Sure. Yeah. No, I hear you though. Like you said, you kind of took care of the issue for now. Okay, so then going back to the user side of things, you opted in for audio articles, and I'm so excited when people use this feature. We're trying to get it on everyone's site eventually, but like, can you just tell me a little bit about how those sound to you? Like any feedback you've gotten from readers on that?
So I hadn't really, to my knowledge, I hadn't gotten any feedback from any readers directly. Now, Corey, my executive editor, may know more about that.
Okay.
And I'll have to check with him. But, I'll tell you that I've used it just when I'm sitting here working. I know it sounds weird, but,
No, yeah, I do that.
I'm going through an email or I'm dealing with something else, and I'll go ahead and cut that on, and I'll listen to the story to make sure that I'm all on it and understand what they're writing.
Right. Right.
I like it. I like the feature. The one thing that I wasn't sure of, and I don't know, this is probably the wrong setting, but I don't know how the financials work on that. I think it's like we get so many or something, and then we get charged for more, or I don't know how it works. Is it
right? Yes. So what it is we get 2 million characters a month for the base $75 a month, and then you're producing so much content, you might go over that. So you get another million characters for $30 that month.
okay? Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
I think on our last bill we saw like it was $90, I think. So it's
90
$330.
overage. So
Yeah.
you're using it a lot. Got it. Yeah. So we're creating a lot of content. So let's talk about like how we could, I don't know, monetize this, grow our audience with this. Do you have any thoughts on that? Because right now it's kind of a feature for your current subscribers, but I have ideas to grow your subscribers through this medium. I don't know.
I don't, and I'm certainly open to the subscriber part. What
Okay.
initially hit me with that is I need to get my advertising guy to sell a
Right.
15-second or 10-second pre-roll to that.
Right.
And I think, and I can't remember on this, Matt, you probably know this. I know you know this better than I do. But ideally, I remember talking about it, and it seems like we could get a pre-roll, but it was site-wide, and I can't do that because the local guy here, like Bill's Grill, nobody cares about that in Wake Forest.
Right. I got
so
you. Okay.
that I think maybe some of the holdup from our side is to be able to drive that down by publication.
Okay. Right.
And I know that in some of that discussion we talked about, eventually doing like a pre-roll, a mid-roll. There's even discussions of a post-roll, I think.
Right. Right.
I don't know. I can't remember the capabilities. I think it's just a pre-roll only, from what I remember, but I could be wrong.
Gotcha. Well, we have pre-roll, post-roll if we feed it to Buzzsprout, which is sort of a whole different thing on the web. But just to stay focused on what we have on the website now, yes, it's just that one pre-roll. So what you would really need, if I could simplify it, I think it would basically be you need a category-specific pre-roll. I think that would basically accomplish it, right? If we could assign category, like have four audio article ads and assign categories to them, so then they're automatically stitched.
Yeah, that sounds right. To throw this in there, it might be a little too complicated for being useful at this moment.
Right.
But I believe that the way you could assign them to categories, if you wanted to, you would just have to enter the pre-roll of the text, go into your articles, filter by the paper you want to apply those to, and bulk update them all. Gotcha. And that should apply it. Once again, probably more effort than you want to put into this, understand that, but that is what I was thinking of workaround.
I gotcha. Okay. That's interesting.
There is another way that I was talking to someone about earlier. This was for the Daily News.
Yeah.
They have an audio file of a local candidate that they want to put. Well, we can't upload MP3s for this. It's all text-based. However, can you see my screen? Can you see Lavernia here?
Yep.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. What they used to do is in this area, they would have a player much like this, but only on certain pages. So if they had a candidate, they would have a player here with the candidate's voice speaking. Mm-hmm. And it was only on certain pages. So we could do something like that. And that's through Ad Rotate Pro.
Oh, okay. But would that play? Would it be a pre-roll, or it's a separate player? It sounds like you're describing. So
yeah, it would be a different player. That was my only thing I was thinking if the other way didn't work.
Right. I gotcha. Well, the thing my reaction is this is kind of a feature that we just need, Kevin, and I've had other people request this, so you're not the only one. So I really think we need to do this. It's just a matter of getting the development, the engineers to work on it. But I understand that's the holdup for your revenue there. Would you be open to what do you think about maybe putting these things out in like the podcast channels like Apple Podcasts and Spotify? What's your thoughts on doing that?
So yeah, I'm totally down with that. And I know Vera, again, I can't say enough good things about her. And Vera, you can pay me later. I'm joking, clearly. But she has talked to me about the podcast, and
Okay.
I think I don't know how to monetize that. I think there is a way there, but
Right.
I am absolutely open to it. I just don't know enough about it yet, and
Sure.
and I know I hate to sound dumb, but that's just where I'm at with it right now.
No, it's not like that at all. I mean, it's a constantly evolving thing, and I feel like we're right on the cutting edge because it was just announced that now Apple and Spotify allow you to take subscriptions for your podcasts. So we're trying to set up a test case with the paper in Alabama and just actually get it working so that the proof of concept, it actually, like the feed works and the money gets funneled to the right account. So we're hammering out all those details, but I just wanted to see what your thoughts were, where you were at, and it sounds like you're basically like, I'm not going to post it and just give it away, to podcast listeners. So we need a business model there, right?
Yes, yeah, and I'll also just to add, man, we'll try anything. We have, so if you ever need a guinea pig,
Okay.
reach out to us. I mean, seriously, because we're open to testing and trying to help develop and learn from that as well. So
Right.
yeah, I mean just keep that in mind. But yeah, I mean I'm open to just about anything, and I don't know how can you set that up to where if you're a current subscriber, you don't have to pay for that?
Right.
That would be ideal, and if that's possible. So
sure. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing I hadn't thought of. I was just thinking, the way I look at it, I guess, is like there's an audience in these podcasts apps. They're building an audience like Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if we can just get in front of them where they're at, then maybe we would generate new subscriptions. But yeah, I think that would be the best user experience for sure. If you could buy a subscription to the website and then listen anywhere, like including on your favorite podcast app. That's a cool idea. I'm not sure what it would take to do that, but let me ask you this. Okay, I'm going to change topic one more time because it's rapid fire.
No, I like it. It's fun.
Yeah, this is really, really informative for me. Can we go to the homepage really quick, Vera? Light, dark setting. This was another thing that we didn't have that you wanted, and now we have it. And so tell me a little bit about why you thought that was important.
Well, okay. So I'll give you my thoughts. So I like it because I got used to it. And and so
Personally,
most of the people in the building have kind of migrated to that format.
Right.
So I absolutely 100% like it, and it was a requirement. I made it a requirement with Alex, and I asked for that to be the same here. I don't like it now on our site, and I mean that because I don't know who's running Vera, maybe
Vera. Yeah.
Can you go back to dark? It's because, and I guess I have to do something. I don't know. The Restoration NewsMedia, these logos, they don't look right to me.
No.
And I think that I mentioned that, and it seems like I was told that I was going to have to pay for some development or something for that to be changed. And I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. I mean, like it. And I could be wrong, Matt, but somebody said something like making it reverse. I'm not a graphic guy, so I can't tell you, but I can tell you it don't look right.
Yeah, it doesn't look right. I wanted to ask you about it because I thought that we had talked about this, Vera, and but maybe something got lost in translation here. So what I think we should do, the simplest thing would be to make them all like this. And then it would at least look right, and it would not be, hard to read. So what I mean is they all would have a background with white text.
Yeah.
could.
So that way, if it went to light, you'd still see it, and if it goes to black, yes.
You still can read it both ways, and it's very readable both ways. And I think what requires the engineering is to dynamically change between two logos. So if we have the same logo on both, and it just looks, it's designed so that it looks good with a background of dark or light, then it will work better. So if you're open to that, I mean, I could have Jack mock this up. I mean, I think we'd have to do it with the main logo too. So just need a little bit of a background to it. Would you be open to that if we could mock up something so it's at least readable? You know, this.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I agree with you, man. And I'm sorry. I thought that this was addressed and you had decided like whatever you didn't want to do it. But it sounds like that is what happened, because you thought it was development. But I think this other way is going to solve the problem without development. Okay. So
yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's definitely talk after this, Vera and Tyler, about a follow-up for Jack to take care of that tonight. We can probably get just like a mock-up together pretty quickly. Okay. So yeah, we definitely want you to like the feature.
Oh yeah. No, and I'm with you, man. Yeah. Like I said, I absolutely like the dark mode.
It's all good except for those logos. It's just then that detail matters. So I'm sorry that it's been like this, but I think we can fix it pretty quick.
What let me ask you this on the where on the bottom left where it shows light or dark. I think through this option that we've got is it has to be in one or other location. I'm wondering if you can, and I don't know, Matt, this could be the wrong way to think about it, but would it make sense to not give a person an option and force them to one or the other or not? And here's the reason why I ask that is because when you go to mobile, so 70 to 80% of our readers are mobile.
Right.
And so when you go to mobile, that light dark shows right up, down at the bottom, if I remember right.
Right.
I'm pulling it up now, but it's kind of like in the way.
Okay.
And, I don't know if it could be moved somewhere else or hidden under the hamburger menu or something. Maybe that'd be great.
Yeah, I definitely see that. It is sort of in the way. It does float on top of everything, but it blocks things. I mean, I'm sure I don't see any reason why we couldn't put it in the hamburger menu. People won't use it as much, I would think, but you don't seem to be that concerned with that. Like you're almost ready to just like white.
I mean, it's like I said. I mean, you said it's not that bad. I mean, it does float on the bottom left.
Little off. Yeah. Right. I hear you. No, I mean, if that's what you want to do, we'll put it in here. It could be. I think we could just have the switch in there instead of here, and just try that for a while. Or if you're willing to give us a day here to change out these logos to see if we can make it work right, maybe you'll be more inclined to leave it. But I definitely think it's smart the way that you're focused on mobile and the whole mobile experience. So let me just talk to engineering about like what it would take to move that button. And I'm assuming it's not much, but I could be wrong. Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
Another thing you could try is, how you scroll down and the Restoration Media floats with it?
Yep.
Maybe have it right next to the logo here or the logo of the paper.
In the, on
Up
mobile,
here.
that might be a little tight though, because we got the hamburger menu logo and then the search bar. That's the only thing I would worry about with that. But, these are all options to consider, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Hey, Matt, I thought I'd show you one thing right quick.
Sure.
Hey, Vera, can you jump over to Wilson Times? And I showed Vera this too, but one of the things that we looked at, when you come to this site, you'll see a sliding billboard that we put in. It's something that I had asked for. So our advertising guy that we've got in place is, pretty slick.
Cool. That's
and and so he's come up with a bunch of different ideas, and he really liked this. And he said, I can sell that. That's a premium spot. I can sell the mess out of that.
Right.
And so right now, this is just kind of a test for us and for him to be able to show people. But so I was asking about it, and Vera looked all around and said, I don't see it anywhere, on the site that we have it. So I reached out to Alex, my son, and I said, dude, you gotta cough up some code for me. Let me, how do we do this?
Right.
Did it and gave it to me within 15 minutes. He probably Googled that somewhere. I don't know, but
right.
But gave it to me, and then all I did was build it as an ad, and then attached it to a group, so that I could determine which publication it should go to, and then I put it out there, and man, it's cool. So I don't know, that might be something your other people could use too.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm going to have to look into. I wasn't even aware of this. I mean, we had a sliding billboard years ago when we were on Drupal, but yeah, we didn't bring it over to WordPress. I don't know why. So this is, I'm going to have to just look into it, but basically it's using you put custom code that your son wrote into the advert.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like JavaScript kind of thing. Awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what, I don't know, man. That's all like Chinese to me. I don't know that stuff, but yeah, sure. He just said, here, just try this. And so I did, and it worked.
That's awesome. Okay. That's something I wasn't even anticipating talking about. That's a good one. Yeah.
It's probably near the
highlight that.
It's probably near the bottom, Vera, right there. Yeah, so
there it is.
There's the code, and I can adjust, I guess, how many seconds it takes for it to, while it's down, for it to go up, and
that's awesome.
Yeah, so it's pretty neat, and I guess adjust the size, and all I got to do is drop in the code.
Right. Well, if you're comfortable manipulating code, this is a great option. I think some publishers would look at this and not be a little overwhelmed, but if it's just copying and pasting and swapping out some variables, I think we could definitely put together a good tutorial on how to do that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that to us. Okay. Couple other things. Ad network. You switched to our ad network recently were you using AdSense before?
Yes, we're still using AdSense and your ad network, because I wanted to see, I was afraid to make the full switch, and
sure.
James spent some time with me, and he talked to me about it, and he said, from his experience, what he's seen is that usually people that make that switch will see about a 20% lift in revenue.
Right.
I've not seen that fully yet from my perspective, and that doesn't mean it's not there. I just haven't fully seen it yet, and I need to go through a full month and see where we land. But I think that I think we had more spots as well. So to be fair, I think we had more spots in our old website that we were serving up more Google AdSense.
Okay.
And our guy here now has looked at it and said, we need to serve up more, local, and use the AdSense more as a remnant space. So if we don't have a local ad to serve up, then it falls into that.
Sure. Right.
Which I completely understand, and I get. Before we were making upwards of $2,000, $2,500 a month in Google AdSense.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Which was very strong, and we were very happy about that. But with his outlook and his idea of charging like he's rolling out in January, I think we'll see that and above, from our perspective.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much how we look at it. It's an ad network, so you're only going to be able to make so much of it. If you can sell a local ad, always prioritize that. So that just kind of confirms what we've been hearing. Okay, so I mean we've talked for almost an hour here, Keven. I think we've talked about all the features that I wanted to. Is there anything else that you wanted to go over in terms of where you want to go next, or any other feedback on how things are going now?
No, I mean, honestly, first of all, it's great to meet you.
Great to meet you too,
have to
man.
say that.
Really.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful. I've heard your name thrown around. It
I've
hasn't
heard
been
so much
in
about
mud.
you as well.
It's been good.
Yes.
But yeah, no, it's good to meet you. And I think that things have gone, like I said, very well. I would like to obviously explore this light dark mode that you're talking about, but also I would like to look into the podcast and try to understand more of that. And really the other thing is the pre-roll.
Yes.
And to be able to sell that. My guy is Sean. He is putting together packages now to be able for our reps to go out and sell. And I really would like for this to be either a part of that package or maybe a separate package that he can do. And ideally, and I think I heard Vera say this, and I could be wrong, but it could be an MP3 that somebody from Leaf Toyota says they have their own guy saying it, and it's their voice that comes out for 15 seconds. So I would love for that to happen if we could.
Okay, that's really good to know. Yeah, I think we'll talk after this, guys. But I think the Buzzsprout route might make this work. We could do separate channels, different papers, and I don't know. I'm just kind of brainstorming here, but yeah, definitely.
There's another thing I was thinking about too, Matt. We could actually take that MP3 and put it into an article. So that way, when it does the export to not only the podcast, but audio articles, that information's there.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure. I wasn't aware it would work like that, but yeah, we should definitely look into that and test that out. Awesome, man. Well, I don't want to cut you off. If there's anything else you want to talk about, I'm more than available, but I figure you got other things to do. So we can call the meeting here unless there's anything else.
No, I'm good. And I really appreciate your time. I know you're busy, and Tyler, your time, and of course, Vera, her time. And I didn't get to hear her dogs today, so I hope they're okay.
They are. They're actually being really good today.
So I appreciate everything, guys.
Likewise, Kevin. Thank you. I really appreciate this feedback. It's great working with you. Great to meet you, and we'll definitely talk again soon. We'll be following up on those items.
Sounds good, Matt. Thank you so much, man.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Have a good day.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Thanks for watching this highly informative conversation. If you would like to check out the Restoration News Media websites, visit restorationnewsmedia.com. And for more information on the Our Hometown newspaper platform, visit ourhometown.com. Plus follow, like, and subscribe across social media for the latest in digital publishing.